Testing 1 2. Mic check 1 2 3. Good afternoon and welcome here to Tukwila, Washington, as we are getting started here with the Dudes National Bracket play here in the Cardinal Classic as they take on the Skagit Sox here, and they'll be representing the away team as they are up at bat first. We've seen Chao Zhang have an at-bat. There's Joey Facilla as he flies out to the right side. Zhang struck out on his at-bat. Apologies for getting things started here. We've had a few audio issues, but we're able to get things going now here. In Tukwila. Lance Burt now up in the batter's box, third in the order here for the Dudes. No runners on, 2 down. The ball is strike, and he's going to swing and miss at that one. Strike 2. Brings the count to 1-2 with 2 outs. Bradley is on the mound here for the Skagit Sox here in bracket play of the Cardinal Classic. Malachi Noah is on deck. The Dudes with some new jerseys here today. Some new uniforms, and they all, well, not all of them, but a few of them have switched numbers. So there's not 2 number 15s anymore. Malachi is now wearing 16 there over on deck with these nice new uniforms, as this one swung out by Burt, launched into left field, fly out, and the grab is made there by Alexander for the final out of the top of the first here for the Dudes, representing the away team here against the Skagit Sox. That'll do it for the top of the first. I'm Sebastian Alsing. I'll be back in just a moment. We are now getting set to begin the bottom of the first here from Tukwila. 1-2-3 inning on our last one here for the Dudes. Got through Zhang, Facilla, and Burt. Zhang and Facilla have been at the top of the order for the past few games for the Dudes. Zhang struck out. Vasila fly out to right field and then a fly out to left field from Burt. Put those three down, and now it's bottom of the first.
I need their lineup.
Apologies, I was just called down by the dudes for a second to bring a lineup card down there, so that should be all done for now. Still up at bat is Alexander here for the Sox. There is a strike. First strike, 3-1 is the count now. Vasila on the mound here for the dudes. Just had an at-bat second in the order. This one grounded up the middle. The grab is made there by Bomer and sent over to first for the first batter, now retired here by the dudes here in the first inning. Bomer playing shortstop as usual, leading the infield. Mason Diaz over on first. This pitch goes up and away. Rupp has to duck down. It's Rupp up in the batter's box now for the Sox. We saw Alexander. We'll see Rupp here, and then Champagnon. Three balls now, one strike here for Rupp. Swinging at this one, grounding it towards the right side. The grab is made there by Lopez and sent over to first. Diaz will make the grab. Diaz now wearing the number 17. Dion Lopez over at second base here for the dudes today. This one swung at for the third at-bat for the Sox. Launched into left field. The grab is made there, and that will do it for the first inning here. No runs scored in round one of the Cardinal Classic bracket between the dudes and the Skagit Sox. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Let's see if we can fix some of the audio issues seemingly that are happening right now, and I'll be right back. We are back now here from Tukwila. Malachi Noet up in the batter's box here for the dudes. Seeing his first plate appearance today. 1-2-3 inning on our last Dudes at bats. That one into the zone for strike one. 2-1 now is the count here on Malachi. Seeing his action again. He wasn't here yesterday in that game against the Shoreline Royals. 7-0 victory. He'll swing at this first pitch and foul it off over to the right side. Strike two, and the count's at 2-2 here for Malachi Noet. Malachi now wearing, again, number 16 today. He's back behind the dish, however, for the Dudes. It was Juan Hernandez yesterday. He'll swing at this pitch and launch it into left field. Another fly out as the grab is made there by Alexander. First one down here for the Dudes now in the second inning as we get this one started. A quick first inning. 1-2-3 for both of the teams. Got through Alexander, who just made that grab there, Rupp and Champagnon, as well as Jean Facilla and Burt for the Dudes. Here's Carter Smith now up in the batter's box for Dudes National. Carter Smith wearing the number 18 now. One goes low, becomes 2-1 now after ball two, one down. No runners on base still. Mason Diaz is on deck for the Dudes as that one zips into the zone for strike two. Count matched up back at 2-2 here for Carter Smith, third baseman today for the Dudes, as he was yesterday. So not much of a change in the lineup. He'll swing at this one. It's a dropped third strike. They're going to send it over to first, and the force out is made over there to Bailey. Blom is behind the dish here for the Skagit Sox. Here's the general manager, Colin McBride, over at first base there. Strike one here for Mason Diaz. Diaz has returned to, or not returned, has been put on first base ever since Juan Hernandez started there to start the season here. Diaz going to swing at this one, chop this one up the middle. The grab is made there at shortstop and sent over to first for the force out. On Diaz, nice play there from Rupp to Bailey, and that'll do it. Retires the side here in the top of the second here for the Dudes. Another 1-2-3 inning as Diaz is retired. We'll see Bomer, Hernandez, and Lawson up next for the Dudes. And as for the Sox, we'll get to their next 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the order up next. Rochester up at bat now here for the Skagit Sox. We'll see him, Bradley, and Totten 4, 5, and 6 in the order for them. That one goes into the zone here from Joey Pasilla in his second inning now. Pitching today, it was Nolasco Martinez on the mound the whole game yesterday, all 7 innings, and that's 7-0. No runs surrendered. They're going to check the swing on this one. He did not, so 1-1 is the count here. A ball, a strike, as this one swung at, fly over to the right side and foul. Diaz is looking for it. Is he going to be able to make the grab? And it takes a bounce over the fence. So just foul here. Another chance here for Rodeshonder. Rodeshonder, the third baseman here today for the Skagit Sox. This pitch swung at, and it's going to be grounded towards the left side. Bomer makes the grab, sends it back over to first. Diaz has to leap and make the grab, but is nowhere near first base to make the force out. So big leap saves anything else from going on, as Diaz is able to save that one out of the air. Could have been disaster if that grab was not made. However, there is one now on base here for the Skagit Sox. That's Rodeshonder. Bradley up in the batter's box now, the right-handed hitter. Pitching today for the Skagit Sox, as this one goes wild and gets away from Malachi, and there we go, over to second now. Rodeshonder goes now in scoring position all of a sudden. None down here for the Skagit Sox. Runner over on second, and there's a ball here on Bradley. Pasilla is going to meet here with Bomer on the bump. Here's Bradley again. A ball, no strikes, no outs. Runner on second, as you see him there in the foreground. Showing bunt here, and it's going to be fouled off over past the third base line. Very similar uniforms here between both of these teams. Not really optimal here for a broadcast, but the Dudes have that little red trim on the bottom of their sleeves. Showing bunt again, and this time it's in play over to the left side. The grab is made by Pasilla, sent back over to first, and a runner advances over to third, but Bradley is safe over on first and successfully gets things moving along here. Still none down. Now runners at the corners here for the Skagit Sox. Looking dangerous here for the Dudes. Joey Pasilla trying to still retire a hitter. He's going to try to pick off first. It's not going to be there in time, over to Diaz. Fresh count here for Totten. He'll foul this first pitch off. 0-1 is the count. Bottom of the second, as this one is swung at and flown out to center field. In comes a run well in time, as Pasilla finally gets the ball back in his possession. A run is scored, however, by the Sox here in the bottom of the second. First one down off the sacrifice fly here from Totten. Rodeshonder comes in to score. Bradley over on first still. One down. Pasilla lets this one go inside for Bailey. It's strike one, actually. 0-1 is the count here. Bailey swings at this pitch, and it's going to be fouled way over the cage, over to the right side. Strike two now. 0-2 is the count for Bailey. Roberts is on deck. Bailey, the first baseman here today for the Skagit Sox. They now have a run. Runner over on first. One down. Pasilla winds up, Sends it in and way inside as Bailey has to move out of the way. There's ball one. One, two is the count, and this one swung at, dropped into center field, takes a bounce, and a nice base hit for the Skagit Sox, and now they have some momentum going here in the second inning. The Dudes going to want to try to put a stop to this, as this is the exact type of momentum you don't want going against you right now. Still only one down, runners on first and second here for the Skagit Sox. First pitch outside the zone. Ball one. Bailey on first, Bradley on second. Roberts up in the batter's box. 1-0 is the count, and that one enters the zone, strike one. Matches that count back up at 1-1. Facilla, his 27th pitch awaiting. A ball, a strike, two runners on, one down. There's ball two. Roberts in right field here for the Skagit Sox, and this one already scored a run this inning off of the sacrifice fly from Totten. Batted in Rodeshonder. 3-1 is the count now here for Roberts. Bradley on second, Bailey over on first. And that one sails way outside. Gets away from Malachi, and now the bases are loaded here for the Sox. Roberts goes over to first. You see him there. Bailey on second. And Basilo's going to get met here on the bump with Malachi as well as Skyler, one of the coaches for the Dudes. Facilla stays out there. There was talks yesterday about whether or not Joey Facilla would be here today pitching for the Dudes, and it seems he has been convinced, as here he is. Bottom of the second, however, and he's going to try to make up some ground here, or at least try to get out of this sticky situation. Bases loaded. There's ball one. 1-0 is the count here for Blom, who's behind the dish for the Sox. It was actually strike one. Apologies on that. There's ball one. 1-1 is the count. One down. Bases loaded. Facilla winds up. Sends it in, and it's fouled off into the netting back above the backstop. Bradley on third, Bailey on second, Roberts on first. Blom swings at this one and chops it foul. One ball, two strikes. It'll remain that way as that one's fouled off by Blom. Trying to keep things going here for the Sox. One on the board, and the Dudes just trying to do away with this. Here's Facilla. 1-2 again, and it's going to hit Blom, and another run will go up here for the Skagit Sox. Bradley jogs in past the dish. Strike one here on Malone now up in the batter's box for the Skagit Sox. Bottom of the order for them, playing second base today. There's ball one, brings the count to 1-1. One down, bases still loaded after that run was put in off of the hit by pitch, and this one is grounded into right field. A score is again batted in, this time by Malone as he advances over to first. Bailey jogs in home. A third one up for the Skagit Sox. Now back at the top of the order with Alexander. They are. And there will be a pitching change here as Colin McBride goes up to the mound. Facillo's out, and it's just him, as well as Malachi Noet up there right now. And in walks Mason Diaz, so he's now going to be in the place of Joey Facilla, who got through 38 pitches before being pulled here. We'll take a quick break as Diaz gets warmed up here on the mound. We're back now. Diaz pitching for the Dudes. Bases still loaded. One down as this pitch is swung out by Alexander back at the top of the order. This pitch is fouled off. 1-1 is the count. One down. Alexander 0 for 1 today. Struck out on his first at-bat. There's strike two. Brings the count to 1-2. Ball two strikes, and that one sails outside. Ball two evens the count out at 2-2, and this whole thing kind of started off with Rodeshonder fourth in the order for the Skagit Sox as he got that momentum rolling. And was also the first run batted in, and this one is going to bat in another one as it's grounded towards the right side, picked up by Lawson. In comes two scores, however, actually. Sliding in for another one is Blom. Two runs come in to score. Roberts and Blom both sail home. Dudes just not quick enough to get it there, and now it's 5-0 Skagit Sox. Now up at bat, here's Rupp. Runners at the corners. 5-0 Skagit Sox. There's ball 2 for Mason Diaz. That pitch swung at and flown up to center field. The grab is made there by Burt. In comes a score, and he is safe. No wet? Doesn't think so. But it is what it is. There's a 6th score there for the Sox. And here's Champagnon. Alexander over on first after another sac fly there. 6-0 Skagit Sox. No runners elsewhere but first. Champagnon over one today. Diaz, his 11th pitch upcoming, and the runner's going to try to steal second, and he's going to get there well in time before Lopez can get the ball. Alexander over on first now. A ball, a strike here for Champagnon. Alexander in scoring position now. No opportunity for any sacrifices here for Champagnon this time. That pitch goes wild, gets away from Malachi, and it's sent over to third. Did they tag him out in time? No, he did not. Another stolen base here for Alexander now, even closer to scoring. As you see him over on third, Champagnon gets back and set. Here's Diaz. This pitch swung at and fouled over to the left side. Strike 2 evens the count out at 2-2. On deck is Rodeshonder, who kind of, again, started the momentum that this inning has gotten up here for the Skagit Sox as they lead 6-0 now. In the bottom of the second, what was a quick first inning, as well as top of the second, has all really crumbled down now for the Dudes. It'll remain 2-2 after that pitch is fouled off, and there is strike 3 from Diaz. Finally retires the side here, and that'll do it for the second inning. And again, not before 6 runs can be scored, however, by the Skagit Sox. Runs scored by Rodeshonder, Bailey, Roberts, Blom, and Malone. 2 RBIs for Alexander Rupp with 1 as well. Totten that sac fly to start it all off. Well, that'll do it here for the second inning. 6-0 as the Skagit Sox lead here in round 1 of the Cardinal Classic bracket. We'll be back here with Dudes National. Kevin Bomer up in the batter's box here for the Dudes. Strike one on him. Bomer with the home run single shot over the wall yesterday against the Shoreline Royals. There's strike two. 0-2 is the count now here for Kevin, leading the infield at the shortstop position and has been for Dudes National for a good majority of the season so far. 1-2 is the count for him after ball one. Bomer seventh in the order for the Dudes. 2-2 as he swings at this one, grounded towards the right side. He picked up by the second baseman and sent over to first for the force out over there, and the first one down now for the Dudes in the third inning. Still trying to get some momentum on their side. And now it's Juan Hernandez for the Dudes up in the batter's box. We've seen Juan pitch for the Dudes this season once. Used to play a lot of first base and played catcher yesterday in place of Malachi. Strike one for him. Hernandez, 3 at-bats yesterday, a run scored as well as a hit. And he'll hit this one towards the left side, grounded right into the glove of the shortstop, sent back over to first. Bailey makes the grab, up to Bailey for the Skagit Sox, and another one is forced out over at first. Now 2 down here for the Dudes in the top of the third. Chase Lawson now up in the batter's box for the Dudes, and he's going to swing at this one. Grounded again, back over to Rupp, sent back over to first, and the force out is made. 3 in a row. All ground outs here for the Dudes in the top of the third, as they're in a 6-run hole. We'll be back for the bottom of the third with Diaz still on the mound. We'll be right back. Rodeshonder back up in the batter's box now for the Skagit Sox. He started off that kind of swing of momentum in the second inning for the Skagit Sox on his last at-bat. Diaz now 16 pitches in. There's ball one, as Rodeshonder fouls this one back into the net near where I'm sitting. Strike one, count out 1-1 here for Rodeshonder. A hit as well as a run scored off of the RBI sacrifice fly from Totten. And he'll foul this one off again. Takes a bounce off the pole. I don't know if you heard that, but sounded like someone rang the doorbell. 1-2 is the count now. No runners on for Rodeshonder starting off the bottom of the third. Bradley now up to the plate for the Skagit Sox after the strikeout from Rodeshonder. One down now as Diaz winds up and sends that one in. There's strike one, swinging. His 22nd pitch of the game. A ball, a strike. Diaz quickly getting back into it. His hat flies off. 2 balls, a strike, 1 down. No runners on base here for the Skagit Sox. 2-1. Ducking under that one is Bradley. Ball 3. There's strike 2, and the count's full now for Bradley. His second at-bat today, his first one. Got a hit as well as a run scored today, and he's going to swing at this one. A little bit of a swinging bunt there right into the glove of Diaz, and he's going to send it over to Hernandez now at first in place of him. Diaz starting over on first, and now it's Juan Hernandez, who was originally the designated hitter today for the Dudes, before Joey Facilla was pulled off of the mound, and now Diaz is in his place. 1 down, and time is called here. Fresh count for Totten. Totten batted in that first run for the Skagit Sox of the 6 in the second inning. Flew out to center field for the sacrifice, and this one's going to be grounded towards the left side into the glove of Cohen, sending it over to first, and the ground out is made there. Cohen to Hernandez for the final out of the third inning. No more runs put on the board here for the Skagit Sox. They still lead 6-0 here from Hogan Park. Chao Zhang now up in the left-handed batter's box for the Dudes, still trying to get some stuff going for them. Now in a hole, kind of the reversal of what happened yesterday for the Dudes. And Zhang is going to get a nice hit here as he drills this one up the middle past second base and into the glove of Champagnon. To first goes Zhang over there now with Colin McBride. It's around this time in yesterday's game where they started to get that momentum going for them. Here's Joey Facilla now. Second in the order for the Dudes, starting out on the mound for them. Got through a bit of the second inning before he was pulled. And Diaz was put in his place now here in the top of the fourth from Hogan Park in Kent, Washington. Bradley, his 38th pitch, is fouled off by Facilla. Strike two, and the count's at 0-2 with Zhang over on first. Swinging at that one, Facilla is going to strike out. Kind of throws his arms up. Now here's Lance Burt, third in the order. Has had some MVP numbers the past few games. Yesterday, 2 RBIs on his 2 hits through his 3 at-bats. Burt a few days ago was named MVP on the day he was also named part of the first all-tournament team for the Art Wright Memorial Day Classic. Got an interview with him that you can, or you could find on the Dudes Instagram page. It might be down now. Was able to talk to him about that and what he kind of saw that day as he advances in his career, going into college soon, looking for some places to go. A ball, a strike. Burt's also seen the mound a few times as this pitch gets away from Malachi and over to second goes Zhang. I'm sorry, not Malachi. I'm so used to Malachi being behind the dish here for the Dudes. It's Blom behind the dish for the Skagit Sox. Dudes, of course, up at bat. Here's Lance Burt again. 2 balls, a strike. Two one goes into the zone. Strike 2 becomes 2-2. Maybe we should just rename the catcher position Malachi. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 down. Zhang over on second. Burt remains here. Facilla struck out. And Burt's going to single as he sends this one into center field. Rounding third here is Zhang. He's going to keep on going, and let's see if he gets there. He's going to get there well in time. Steps in for the first score of the game, Lance Burt. I mean, who else but Burt does it again. RBI double puts him over on second now. And now the Dudes have some signs of life here. Here is Malachi now up in the batter's box. 16 today. He used to be one of 2 number 15s on the Dudes team. It was him and Kevin Bomer, kind of 15A, 15B situation there. Here's ball 1 on Malachi. Burt over on second. And Malachi is right up there with Burt in terms of some MVP numbers. He's had quite a few great hits and at-bats this season so far. Two balls so far here for Noet. You see Burt getting a lead on second as this pitch is not going to count as time was called. Burt on second. 6-1 in favor of the Skagit Sox as that deficit decreased after the RBI double from Burt. Malachi swings at this one. It's going to be popped up foul towards the right side and goes over the cage into the audience somewhere. Hopefully that didn't hit someone. I saw someone duck out of the way. I'm not sure. It looks like everyone's fine over there in the audience. 2 balls, 1 strike here after that one's fouled off by Noet. Burt on second, swing and a miss. Brings the count to 2-2 here for Noet. 0 for 1 today is Noet. Two fouled off, and it'll remain that way for Malachi. Bradley on the bump. His 50th pitch here is swung at and sent into play in left field. Rounding third is Lance Burt. In comes a score. He's got it. And so there we go now. Second score of the day as Burt comes home off of the hit from Malachi over on second. As you see him coming to the foreground. Noet, and there is the Malachi we've been missing since yesterday as he wasn't there. That's the only game he's actually missed. This pitch swung at here. Over towards the right side it goes, and I'll try to describe what happens. It bounces foul and over the fence. Big a leap there. Strike 1 as it's fouled off by Carter Smith, wearing 18 today. Still only 1 out for the Dudes. Noet over on second. Carter Smith, 0-1 is the count, and he's 0 for 1 today. There's ball 1. Mason Diaz is on deck. Oh, 1, and this one gets past. Blom over to third. Goes Malachi for a stolen base. Time is called here as it looks like Noet is going to be replaced by Magnuson Byers over on third now, as his courtesy runner. So now you see Mags Byers over on third, wearing 14 now. He used to wear 56 in the old green uniform, so he's 14 now with these new black shirts. Carter Smith back up, 2 balls, 1 strike after Malachi steals third. His courtesy ran here by Magnuson Byers, and there's a third ball, and it's actually a balk, so Byers comes in to score. So now that deficit that they came into the inning down 6 has now been halved. The national team has put up 3 here against the Skagit Sox. In the top of the 4th so far, Carter Smith still in his at-bat. 2-1 is the count after the balk from Bradley. There's ball 4. So a balk, and then ball 4 puts Smith over on first. Now it's Mason Diaz up in the batter's box. 0 for 1 today for Diaz. And it looks like there may be a meeting here on the pitching mound with Bradley. 56 pitches into this game so far. Started off here for the Skagit Sox. We'll see what he thinks. Dudes trying to make a 6-run comeback here from Hogan Field. And so it looks like he'll stay out there. Bradley remains. Diaz back up at the plate. A ball, no strikes, 1 out. Smith over on second. They're going to try to pick him off there, and they don't get him. Here's Diaz again. A ball, no strikes. Shows bunt, and he's going to send it foul. A ball, a strike, and they're going to try to pick off Smith again. He gets back there safely. One. Smith tries to steal second, and he is there. Smith successfully now puts himself in scoring position with Diaz up. Diaz, one of the 2 players who have hit home runs for the Dudes this season for the national team. Let me be clear on that. Both of those home runs in Hartman Park, as Diaz strikes out swinging there for the second hitter now retired here in the inning. Two down. Bomer up in the batter's box. He is that other hitter to have sent in a home run. Both of those home runs single shots from Diaz and Kevin Bomer, both in Hartman Park on separate occasions. Ball 1 here for Bomer. Runner over on second. This one swung at and fouled off above the cage. Strike 1 brings the count to 1-1 here for Kevin. One with 2 outs. Smith over on second, swing and a miss. There's strike 2 for the Dudes. One, 2, and Kevin stays alive as he fouls this one off to the right side. One, 2. Swing and a miss as Smith tries to get over to third. It's not going to matter, though. That'll do it here for the top of the 4th. From Hogan Park's baseball field here in Kent, Washington. Bottom of the 4th upcoming here with the Skagit Sox back up at bat. The Dudes, however, able to put up 3 here in the 4th inning. Now 3 down. We'll be right back. First baseman Bailey will step up to the plate here in the bottom of the fourth from Hogan Parks Baseball Field from Kent, Washington. The Dudes in the first round of the Cardinal Classic bracket. Strike one as Diaz sends that one in. 29 pitches in. There's his 30th. Strike two. Bailey, again the first baseman here today for the Skagit Sox. Lets that one sail low. A ball, two strikes now here for Bailey. Bailey 1 for 1 here today. And he's going to strike out. Makes it 1 for 2. Had a hit as well as a run scored in his first at-bat as he leaves to go to the dugout. One down now here for the Dudes, trying to seal up this inning here. The Dudes again representing the away team here in Kent. This one is going to be swung at. An awkward kind of motion there. Goes towards the left side. The play is made there from Facilla over to Juan Hernandez. As Facilla's now in the shortstop position here for the Dudes. Able to make a nice grab and throw over to Juan. Both of those positions now different than how they started. It was Kevin Bomer at shortstop and Mason Diaz on first. Diaz now over on the mound, of course, as this first pitch is fouled off here by Blom. 2 down. No runners on here. Trying to quickly do away with the bottom of the fourth. That one's going to get clipped and fouled in behind. Strike one. Sorry, strike two, actually. First pitch was fouled off. 0-2. This one swung at third pitch. Third strike, sorry, is dropped, and over to third is going to be Blom as he's able to get there. Staying alive even after 3 strikes. Malachi loses that third strike. And now there's one on here for the Skagit Sox. Still nothing the Dudes can't put away here, but we can see how easily the momentum can kind of shift here. With 2 outs yesterday, the Dudes were able to do that and put up a big rally. When it seemed like kind of a meaningless inning, 2 were down and the Dudes just started rallying away in that 7-0 win against the Shoreline Royals yesterday. So anything can happen here. 2 down, a base runner here for the Skagit Sox. 2 strikes here. Sorry, it's Malone up in the batter's box now. The second baseman here today. 2 balls, not 2 strikes. Apologies for that mistake. 2-0, and that one sails way inside, having to duck out of the way. This is Malone. Puts the shoulder in. Just barely misses him. So 3 straight balls here from Diaz. And this is what I'm talking about, though. Things can shift here. 3-0 is the count. 1 more ball and Blom's in scoring position. Diaz, 3-0. Sends that one into the dirt, and there we go. Another one on base here for the Skagit Sox as Malone occupies first now. And there will be a meeting here with Diaz. We'll see what gets figured out here from Kent. Meeting over now. Mason Diaz is still out there for the Dudes after the meeting with the entire infield. So here we are, Alexander up in the batter's box now, back at the top of the order for the Sox. Malone on first, Blom on second. This pitch swung at. Strike one here for Alexander. 1 for 2 today, a hit as well as 2 RBIs in his 2 at-bats. Of course, one of those a sacrifice fly. This pitch swung at as well, grounded towards the right side. Lopez makes the grab, force out over to Hernandez. That'll do it for the 4th inning. After the quick meeting with the infield, and we'll be back for the 5th inning as the Dudes are down 3 going into it. They'll have an at-bat starting off for them. It'll be Hernandez, then Lawson, and Lopez, 8, 9, and 10 in the order. We'll be right back. Juan Hernandez steps back up here, 8th in the order for the Dudes. We'll see him, Chase Lawson, and Diana Lopez at least here for the Dudes in the top of the 5th. Of course, they'll try to get more hitters going than that. They're down 3, trying to get things going here. 2 strikes now in a row here for Juan. No base runners starting off here in the 5th inning. Juan grounds one up the middle past second base into the glove of Champagnon as Juan takes up first base. 1 hit here to start off the inning here for the Dudes. And he'll get pinched here by Lincoln Cohen. Lincoln playing third base today for the Dudes. We've seen Lincoln pitch as well as be in the starting lineup, and this pitch is going to hit Chase Lawson right in the back. Advancing to second is now Lincoln Cohen. Chase Lawson over on first now, and now the Dudes have things going. The tying run will enter the batter's box, Diane Lopez. Diane Lopez kind of started the momentum yesterday for the Dudes against the Shoreline Royals with an RBI double to score the first run of the game. Here he is now, bottom of the order here for the Dudes, 10th in the order as a matter of fact. Lopez, second baseman today. And a swing at this one, grounder towards the right side. The grab is made by Malone, fielder's choice. Force out is made at second and nowhere else, however. Lopez gets over to first. Lincoln gets over to third, and Lawson is forced out over at second. in another meeting here with the entire infield for the Skagit Sox. And there will be a pitching change, so we'll step aside and I'll let you know what we got once we're back here. We're back now. Joey Facilla up in the batter's box here for the Dudes. Chao Zhang over on first. As Facilla grounds this one towards the right side, fielder's choice again. The play is made over at first for the final out. That'll do it for the top of the fifth from Hogan Park. The Dudes still down 3 here. As we go into the bottom of the inning, we'll step aside for a minute and be right back here from Hogan Park after the change. Chase Lawson now on the mound here for the Dudes. Starting off the bottom of the fifth inning. Up in the batter's box now for the Sox is Rupp, number 9, the shortstop here today. 2 at-bats so far, an RBI, and one of those. As he'll swing at this one, grounded towards the middle. Facilla makes the grab, sends it way over the head of Juan Hernandez, and Rupp didn't even realize it. He just halted past first base, had to get back over to it. That one could have been disastrous there as it just went way over the outstretched hand of Juan Hernandez over at first. Luckily, things only stay to a single as opposed to anything else, as this one is a fielder's choice over to Facilla, and he drops the ball. And another mistake there made. Facilla drops the ball over his way, grounded. And so now runners are all safe here for the Sox. Champagnon over on first. That was him swinging on the first pitch here from Lawson. Rupp over on second now. This pitch here for our third at-bat here for the Sox. Goes out of the way. Ball 1. 1-0 is the count now. Two balls, no strikes here for Rodeshonder. 2 runners on, swing and a miss there. Strike 1. Carter Smith, of course, in place of Mason Diaz. Now the third pitcher of the day here for the Dudes. 7 innings yesterday with just Nolasco Martinez on the mound, and now 3 today through 5 innings. Rupp in scoring position, no outs so far. This pitch is fouled off to the right side, strike 2. Matches the count up at 2-2 now for Rodeshonder. Rodeshonder 1 for 2 today. A run scored, he'll swing at this one. It's gonna fly out into center field, running out to make the grab. It's not gonna be made by Lance Burt, as he might have been looking up into the sun, tries to send it back home. The grab isn't made by Malachi. A run is scored by Rupp. And that was a disaster. Launched right into the view of the sun for Lance Burt. He just ended up clutching his head and ducking down as the ball flew past back towards the track, took a bounce. Burt picked it up, sent it back home, got past Malachi, and a run was scored. Now 7-3 now Skagit Sox. Runners on second and third now, no outs. As the Sox now have regained momentum here. Up 4 runs, 2 runners in scoring position. Up in the batter's box now is Bradley. There's strike 1. Not what the Dudes want to see here. Oh, 1 pitch. Goes low. There's ball 1 from Carter Smith. Smith 11 pitches in now. Here's his 12th upcoming. Winds up and sends it to the dirt again. Two-1 becomes 2-2 after a swing and a miss here from Bradley. 1 for 2 today as well. A hit as well as a run scored through his 2 at-bats. And that's going to strike him out. Just looking is Bradley as he steps off the field Back towards the dugout. The first one down here for the Skagit Sox only. Still 2 runners in scoring position. Champagnon over on first. Rodeschander over on second. I'm sorry, third and second is where runners occupy. And the umpire's over here asking me how many outs there are. Strike one here for Totten. 0-1 is the count. Champagnon over on third. Rodeschander over on second. That one's fouled off. Strike 2 here for Totten. Totten 0 for 2 today through his 2 at-bats. Here's his third, still trying to get something going. 1 down here for the Skagit Sox. Swinging a miss there by Totten, and another strikeout for Carter Smith. 2 in a row now, just trying to put this one to an end now after the run scored by Skagit. Fresh count here for Bailey, the first baseman. There's strike 1, swing and a miss. There's ball 1. Makes the count 1-1 here. And that one just gets clipped. Strike 2 brings the count to 1-2 here for Bailey. Bailey also 1 for 2 today. A hit as well as a run scored. There's ball 2. Matches the count up at 2-2. 21st pitch there from Carter Smith. Here's his 22nd. Goes up and away. And a full count here for Bailey. That one goes high and walks Bailey over to first now. Bases loaded here for the Skagit Sox. Champagnon over on third, Rodeschander over on second, both of those still. Bailey over now occupying the base he plays at. That pitch swung at here by Roberts. 0 for 1 through his at-bat that he's had today. Lets that one sail by. Strike number 2. 0-2 is the count. 2 down. Runners occupying every base here for the Skagit Sox. Pitch sails low, ball 1. Brings the count to 1-2. A ball, 2 strikes, and there's the second ball. Count matched up at 2-2 here from Carter Smith. Pitching here for the Dudes. 2-2, swing and a miss. And there's the final one of the inning. That'll do it for the 5th. The Dudes 6 outs away from this one being over. Still trying to make up some ground here. They are down by 4 runs going in the top of the 6th here. We'll start off here with Lance Burt, third in the order. We'll see what we can do here from Kent, Washington. Here's Lance Burt now, third in the order, the center fielder here today for the Dudes. That first pitch goes low, ball 1. We'll see Burt, Malachi Noet, and Carter Smith here in the order for the Dudes. That first pitch, or second pitch, sorry, swung at for the first strike. 1-1 is the count now for Burt. Burt 1 for 2 today. Had that RBI double put in the first run for the Dudes. Two balls, one strike. He'll swing at this one. Loft it back towards center field. Running to make the grab. It's not going to be made. Takes a bounce back towards the track now. Burt, another double. And actually, he's going to keep on going past second base. Now is running there, playing a little bit of a game now with the third baseman. And he's going to get tagged out well in time. Burt, a bit of a mistake there, kind of underestimated where the ball was on the field, just kept going past second, and by the time he realized it, he was getting tagged out. Great hit from Lance. Not able to continue around, maybe a little too ambitious on that base running there. Now the first one down here for the Dudes, none on. Here's Malachi Noet. Strike one there. Brings the count to 1-1 after ball 1 on the first pitch. Malachi 2 at-bats today, 1 hit. It was an RBI double that batted in Lance Burt, who just had a plate appearance. Noet calls time here to take off a little accessory there. That pitch swung at and fouled off and over the cage. 1-2. The ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, and Malachi grounds this one over to third base. Rodeschander sends it back to first for the force out by Bailey. That'll do it for the second out here in the 6th inning for the Dudes, getting closer to possibly being put away here as they try to get things going here. Burt gets tagged out trying to get past second, and now Malachi with the ground out over to third. Rodeschander to Bailey is the play. Aldridge again is on the pitching mound here for the Skagit Sox. There was his 10th pitch. Strike one for Carter Smith, and Smith grounds this one to the right side. Bailey makes the grab, sends it back over to Aldridge, who runs in, puts his foot on the base, and gets the final out of the 6th inning for the Dudes. Plate appearances. They have 3 outs left until this one could potentially be decided here as part of the bracket of the Cardinal Classic. That'll do it for the top of the 6th. No more runs put on the board after Burt gets tagged out. Malachi grounds out, and then a ground out there from Carter Smith. 1, 2, and 3. That will do it here for the 6th inning for the Dudes. We'll be back for the bottom as the Skagit Sox are back up at bat. Smith still on the mound here for the Dudes. Blom up in the batter's box now for the Skagit Sox. We'll see Blom, Malone, and then Alexander back at the top of the order. That pitch swung at strike 2. Skagit Sox lead 7-3 here from Hogan Park and its baseball field, and there's strike 3 swinging for Blom, the catcher here today for them. The first strikeout here of the 6th inning here for Carter Smith. 1 down now, 2 to go to put the 6th away. Now it's Malone up in the batter's box. No runners on. That one zips past the zone. Ball 1. Makes the count 1-1 for Malone. And Malone is 1 for 1 today. An RBI on his last at bat. Punched in a run. 2-1 is the count after ball 2. 2-1 pitch is fouled off and matched up at 2-2. Strike 2, 1 out. On deck is Alexander. Malone, the second baseman today for the Skagit Sox. His time is called here. Getting reset. Here's Malone now. Still no runners on. The Dudes down by 4, trying to just control some of the damage here. Make sure nothing else gets away from them in the 6th inning. Fresh count for Alexander after Malone has walked over to first. Going to try to pick off Malone, not going to get him. Alexander back at the top of the order, 1 for 3 today. A hit as well as a sac fly. There's ball 2. Count at 2-0. 1 down. That one sails past. Ball 3 here on Alexander now. He's going to try to pick off first base. The attempt is to no avail. Hernandez loses the ball momentarily. Alexander steps back up. 3-0 is the count here for the Skagit Sox. Base runner on first. That one inside the zone. Strike 1. Carter Smith, his 41st pitch of the day. Here's his 42nd, and it'll sail low, walk another runner onto the base. And that will bring Malachi up to the mound with Carter Smith. In comes some more members of the infield. Lincoln Cohen and Skyler, the manager, and one of the coaches of the Dudes organization. Carter Smith will remain out there. 1 down, 2 runners on. Malone over on second, Alexander on first. Only 1 down. The Skagit Sox will attempt to put more runs on the board. Here's Rupp as he fouls this first pitch off into the ground over to the right side. Down the first base line. Oh, 1 becomes 1-1. A ball, a strike, and now 2 balls and a strike here for Rupp. Smith, his 45th pitch of the day, ever since taking over for Mason Diaz. We saw Joey Facilla start off pitching for the Dudes before Diaz came in. Now it's Carter Smith, the 3rd pitcher of the day. Skagit Sox on their 2nd pitcher. Facilla now at the shortstop position. You see him there. There is ball 4 for Rupp on a 3-1. Becomes a walk over to first, and now bases are loaded. And we've seen this before for the Skagit Sox. Bases loaded. Rupp over on first now after the walk. Alexander over on second. Malone is over on third for them. Now it's Champagnon up in the batter's box as he fouls his first pitch off, up and away. Strike 1 brings the count to 0-1. Still only 1 down for Skagit. This one gets away from Malachi. In comes another score as Malone runs in. Another wild pitch puts in a score here for Skagit. Now up 8-3 here in the bottom of the 6th. This one swung at, grounded towards the right side by Champagnon. He gets to first. In comes a score. In comes another. Now 10-3 here in the bottom of the 6th. For the Skagit Sox, Alexander and Rupp both come in to score. Champagnon, 2-run RBI single. 3 runs scored through just that at bat. Champagnon bats in 2, and 1 is stolen off of the wild pitch. Off of Malone, and there will be another meeting here with the infield on the mound. Skyler's out there. So is the rest of the infield. And there will be another pitching change here for the Dudes. As it looks like Kevin Bomer is going to take the place of Carter Smith, who got through 50 pitches. We'll step aside as Bomer gets warmed up here on the mound. And I want to apologize. It's not actually Kevin Bomer out there. It's Dion Lopez. Previously was playing second here for the Dudes. I saw Bomer walk in, and he's seemingly going to be taking the spot of Dion Lopez. Just want to clarify that. So it is Dion Lopez that is out there on the mound. We'll be right back. So Diane Lopez, the fourth pitcher of the day here for the Dudes. Here in the bottom of the sixth inning against the Skagit Sox. Now in a 7-run deficit after 3 runs scored off of Champignon's at bat. One off of a stolen one off of a wild pitch. This one fouled off over to the right side. Hernandez runs out there to try to make the grab, but it goes over to the fence. Strike one here for Rodashan. One on, that's Champignon over on first. One down, strike one here for Rodashander. Rodashander 2 for 3 today. Ball one brings the count to 1-1 here. Lopez sends this one and it swung out, fouled off to the right side by Rodashander. Strike 2 with 1 down. That pitch sent in. Malachi sends it over to second. Tag is not made there. Facilla makes the grab hit there. But to no avail, as stealing second is going to be Champignon over there. Rodashander remains after ball 2, brings the count to 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Runner on second. This one sent over and a play off of the glove of Lance Bird. Takes a bounce, rounding third. Here comes another score. Rodashander slides in and does it. The ball gets away from Noet. He's safe at home. 11-3 now. And that should be the end of the game. Seemingly 8 runs. Puts the mercy rule into effect here. In the bottom of the 6th inning, a walk-off RBI sends in a run. Champignon, Rodashander, another RBI this game for the Skagit Sox. That does it here from Hogan Park and its baseball field. 11-3, the Skagit Sox come out victorious against Dudes National in a bracket play of the Cardinal Classic. Thanks for joining us here from Hogan Park. That does it. The Dudes fall 3-11 in 5.5 innings, or I guess 6, if you want to round up. But that'll do it. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sebastian Alsing. The Skagit Sox, 11-3, victorious. Have a great evening.